see what happens.
That's good stuff. Oh.
This has been fun. It's kind of like the week whenever the thing fell over.
Oh gosh. That was just a very interesting show. Now that there are no more distractions.
God, that was nice. Breathe.
Speaking of interesting, that was a very interesting networking
me under the
event the
bus.
other night.
You're not editing the photos. You guys got some retro music in here.
You want some ideas of what to talk about?
I just kind of go off of you. What is this?
How to identify your passion as a career. Don't you feel stronger today?
So empowered.
Well, this is
Have
working.
one less
at least.
computer to worry about.
It's working.
Yeah,
Good.
finally.
I am so not worried about working my passion. Because it's funny, being retired, I've got the time to deal with the grandkid.
There's your passion.
Well, there's another passion.
Oh, great. The one person watching is Richard.
What? I just showed you that I was watching. At least somebody's
here.
watching. Don't complain.
I don't
This
know
has
if
been,
you
hey, we're going to
can
focus now.
from that window. but-
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. Tasting, 1, 2, 3. Or back to barbecue.
That's how I dance too.
I'm hungry, which is typical.
Every time I
but
see you in the first morning, you're like,
I'm hungry. I eat a lot.
So
I need a lot of fuel to fuel my passion.
Ooh.
I like the way you work that in there.
See that?
I see what you
Innovation.
did
I can be
there.
politically correct.
Jesus. Well, at least polite.
Well, no, I
Sometimes.
can't see that. That's stretching.
All right, we're going to go. Thank you for tuning in to that wonderful break and nice dance music. If you're watching us live, whenever we came back live on there, you would have seen a little bit of dancing. There we go, Jax. Got it going. Got it going on in here. This is Melissa Walker, your host with Journey to Business Radio Show. You can call us anytime. Don't forget at 214-431-5032. You can also email us on our website at www.j2bradio.com. We're brought to you by Fishbowl Radio Network, and we are sponsored by Next Career. And today's topic, again, is passion. We all like to talk about passion. And when I'm talking about passion today, it's maybe not the passion you're thinking of, but the passion in your life and your career. How do you put your life towards your passion? How do you get a career in passion? Well, I want to tell you a quick story. The story of how I became part of Next Career. I remember literally waking up one day personally and feeling like life had just started completely over. What that means is I literally woke up one day and realized that life is a journey and that I actually owned that journey. I got to decide what I did, what I decided to do, what would make me happy. And as I started to live life in a way that I owned it and I didn't do what everybody else told me what I should do, or didn't do what my teachers, my family, my friends, or just what I thought I was supposed to do because it seemed like the appropriate thing in societal reasons, and started doing something that I became very passionate about, which was working with veterans. And the more I started to understand that concept of working with veterans and the problems that were happening in the workplace and getting people to work, and then seeing that I could do something about it, I personally developed a passion. And once I opened up the company Next Career that focused in that arena, I can say to this day that there's not been a bad day. There's been struggles, there's been hard times, but the things that we accomplish every day makes it worthwhile every time. And so every day stays a good day. And when you live life like that, and Richard, you mentioned this earlier, it's a whole new world.
Yes, it is.
I mean, you can work the 80-hour weeks because you have a passion. You can bring your family along with you while you do your passion. You can do things like that to make it a life that is worth, you don't want to get up every day and, gosh, I have to go to work. Gosh, I have to do this again. Gosh, and this not looking forward to things. And I'm sure we've all been there. I know that I've been there. I had a great career, excelled, did wonderful things. But man, did I really enjoy what I was doing? Was I making an impact on anything? Did it matter what I did if I made it to that meeting or not? And in the real world, not really. Then I got a passion, and I can tell you, it's been a passion of mine now to show people how to get there, how to find your passion in the beginning so you don't spend half your life not living that way. I've met CEOs that literally get there. They get to the very top, and you go and you start coaching with them, and they say, I wanted this my whole life, but I don't even want it now that I got it. I've spent my whole life working for this, and I don't even want it. And then they switch to something else. That truly happens. It's amazing. So why not start from the beginning and figure out what that passion is? You have a passion for cooking. Why not make it a career?
It's still a thought.
How did you guys get to your passion?
Well, in my case, it was moving away from the milieu I grew up in, New York City, and going to a very weird place for a New York City boy, which is Mobile, Alabama. But the lure of what was entailed in the job, that was just perfect. So off I went, and I spent 6 years doing amazing things in Mobile. And there is now a very healthy college of medicine that I helped to start.
Was that in IT?
That was 1973.
No, IT.
Oh, yeah, I was the head computer tech for the college.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Now, Richard, how did you get to your passion?
Well, when I was a kid, my parents had pictures of me running around in little police costumes. So it was, like I said, it kind of chose me, more so I than it. I got involved with a program called the Police Explorers, which is a spin-off of the Warrior, whether it be this, soccer, whatever it is, take your pick. You've got to find where your heart lies, and you got to chase it at all costs. Some of the people listening may have heard this come out of my mouth. I like to say it, but adversity is part of it. And that's true with anything, whether it be sports, whatever. You have to be able to withstand the good and the bad, because like you said earlier, the good outshines the bad 10 times to 1 any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. So you said something that I really kind of keyed into, and it was that I didn't choose it, it chose me. And that's really funny to me because, again, when I brought up the next career, I actually fought it a little bit. I had this idea and I had this concept, and I went to people and I said, hey, you do it. You do it. Like, I literally, because I didn't want to open up a business. I didn't want to own a business. I didn't want that responsibility. Not me. That's somebody else's job. So here, you know how to run a company. You go do it. You go do it. And I literally had a time where I was with a coach and I was doing multiple things, and he said, what do you want to do? And I said, well, if I want to pick one, I'm going to pick this. But you know what? Life chose me on this path. I started a passion, but you know what? When I looked back, everything in my life had led me there. It's a really interesting concept. So sometimes if life is telling you to do something, try it out. You might like it.
You never know.
All right. So let's think about steps as somebody who is new to a career or transitioning. They want to find their passion. What would you recommend, Jack? What would you recommend them doing to find that passion?
Trying things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about software development, which is my key and my core. You can get a lot of free software development tools and a lot of free applications for
Java for Dummies, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But try them.
Yeah.
If you can quickly pick up the essence of what that is, you have an affinity for it. If you have an affinity for it, does that lead to a passion for it? Once you have that passion, boy, turn yourself loose.
That's the truth. Nobody can stop you whenever you're working with a passion. Now, what would you recommend? What would be your first recommendation?
Networking. Get out there, talk to your neighbors, talk to the guy at the gas station, make buddies. You never know who knows who in this world. This place is so small in the grand scheme of things. I've met people along this journey just with the soccer franchise that I never in a million years would thought they would either like or have anything to do with this whatsoever. And it turns out some of those people have been the biggest supporters, the biggest keys for a person or myself to break into other areas. In the case of what I do for a normal paying job, electronic sales representation, I represent manufacturers, and we sell through wholesale distributors. You never know who these people know. If you're all in one industry and that's the industry you want to break in at, you may not be able to go straight to the top. Go around, talk to people. Doors close and doors open. And guys, sometimes you got to kick the door in and walk in like you own the place, and there is a time and place for all of that. And if you can master those skills, along with what Mr. Lewis said, you're going to be fine. That carrying you plus your passion, there's really not much to worry about. You're just along for the ride, and you need to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with Richard on that. I mean, and Melissa, you know I love to network with people. I love getting out and meeting people. And sometimes you go out there and you speak to somebody and you realize that you may have just landed yourself in a position you thought you would have never had. Something that you didn't think in a million years that you could possibly do. I've actually been in a situation like that. I was just speaking with someone, and they say, "Hey, I want you to try and run this operation for me at our company." And I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm not really the guy for this. I really don't have that much experience, but you do have experience managing people. So I said, okay, fine, I'll give it a shot. And next thing I know, I was working there for about 5 years before I finally decided to move elsewhere.
And that's one of the coolest things about really any time. I would say whenever you're graduating college or high school and think about what you want to do, the reality is there's so many options out there. Don't limit yourself. That's one of our mottos or taglines with Next Career. Life is limitless. Are you ready to own the journey? Literally, being curious, networking, asking other people what's out there, finding out all the options. You can look through jobs on the internet and just see what people are doing. Look at companies that people have opened. But always be curious in life. Ask people how they got where they are. I always ask somebody, what's your story? How did you get where you are? And it's funny, what I always hear? I was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But the reality is you got yourself to that place. You were at the right place at the right time because you got yourself there. Try new things, set a goal, say, okay, this is my passion. Take a list, okay? Sit down. Think about whenever you do something in your normal life. Don't think about work, just think about in general. Write down the top 10 times that you have the best time, the things that you enjoy, right? And then look at those things and try to find the commonality. And as you look at those, think about, okay, how can I then convert this into something that I really enjoy doing? Then you kind of think about monetization, like the money part later. But first, look at the passions that you have. And the passions can come from anywhere because then they convert to competencies, which then convert to things that you do in a career. Talk to people about what those passions are and let them brainstorm with you. Talk to friends, teachers, parents, whomever, and really develop and build what you want to do. So you got to start with the basic passion to find out what you want to do whenever you get to a career. So don't just say, well, I really like writing, so I'm going to be a writer. Well, there's a lot more you could do with that.
What kind of writer? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
But is it really that I like writing, or do I like designing stories, and I can actually design stories with graphics in another scenario? I mean, that's kind of a weird random thing, but whatever. If you start thinking about it, the options are limitless, if I can speak today. How many of you got picked where you went? So you said you were in the right place at the right time kind of thing. Did you ever think you were going to end up where you were?
No.
Did you plan that route?
Oh, shoot, no. I mean, I thought corporate America was going to be one of the last places that I wound up, but it's just one of those things that kind of found me. Other things I was pursuing, and it's funny that you say that. I'm looking at a comment from one of our viewers, Mr. Ruben Villarreal, said, "Do not confuse passion with romance. Romance is short-lived and passion is long-term. Agree or disagree?"
Agree.
I have to
Agree.
definitely agree
Wholeheartedly.
with that because when you think about it, a lot of times when you're out there looking for a certain career, you're romanticizing about it. It's something that you desire, and lots of times what happens is you find yourself actually getting into that position, and then you realize, it's just a little like a summer romance. You realize it's not really what you want.
My 3 ex-wives would concur
I was waiting for a
wholeheartedly.
joke to come in that. I was waiting for
That's
that.
no joke.
But you know what? What do they say? If you have a passion, nothing can stop you. You have men coming at you, they're just doing it because they're doing it. They don't have something that they're passionate for, the reason that they're doing it. You can stop them. But if you have a passion, nothing's going to break you down. Right? 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 Okay. The sidekicks, for example. We have supporters. We have people that love the team when the team's doing good. Then we have the people with a passion that love the team no matter what. And they'll do anything like you guys to support that team. That's passion, that's dedication, that's honor. Would you agree?
I agree.
Very much so.
Definitely.
So figure out what your passion is, spend some time talking to people, think about it, and get there. And you know what's cool? Not that it's like romance and disappears after a while, but sometimes as you're in your passion, it leads you to the next one. Not like Mark's relationships or Jack's relationships, I'm sorry. I forgot who said that. I forgot who said it. Maybe that was a subliminal message in my head, I don't know, but just kidding. But
Got to give Mark props. He's wound up being the co-host of your radio show.
yeah, he sure did. And he's
Believe me, I'm a co-host of a lot of things when it comes to her.
I don't know if I like the way that sounded, but sure.
No pun intended.
So guys, tell me a little bit more. Tell us some things that people can do about finding their passion in their career. What other suggestions would you have?
Wow. Go to an airport. If watching the airplanes take off and land gives you a bit of a Jones, that's a passion.
Wow. Okay.
Mentally speaking, dear, if it
What a show today.
yeah, well, we have a little bit of everything for everybody. If it flips your mental trigger, if your heart says, "Oh, really?" then you can pursue that. Go take a flying lesson.
That's one of the things. I used to always think that I didn't have a plan and I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. I actually was a little kid and I'm kind of a dork, so I always imagined being in a city and wearing a suit, telling them you should do this or do that, and so they're following this path, but they're not listening to themselves. And that's the thing about passion. It's about listening to yourself. What do you enjoy? Again, writing that list down, finding things, trying new things to see if maybe you haven't done it. Maybe this will be, let's try something. Now, one of the things that also happens is, what? You can't always get directly to your passion in times, because we all have to make money and pay bills, right?
Correct.
Let me tell you the story about a young lady in Houston who was a network engineer. She was in IT.
Yeah.
She was also in Civil Air Patrol and loved being a Civil Air Patrol pilot. 4 years later, she is now a captain for SkyWest, flying.
Sometimes you try something new, you don't like it. Guess what? You don't have to stay. You can always change.
But at least you tried.
Yes.
You never would have known otherwise had you not put your foot out there in the uncomfy zone and done something about it.
Yeah, and get out there and try opportunities. If people lead you something that you never thought you would do it. Try it. If the opportunity's there, if it's going to support you, if it's not, find a way to do it. The thing about these guys, that's the other part about the passion with them that always inspired me, is that they actually have full-time jobs outside of this they did. So sometimes you have to find yourself in that scenario where you have the job that you do to keep things going, and then you work your way to the passion. So for example, with Mark, what you can do is as you work your full-time job, you can start cooking slowly on the side. You can start putting things together and start charging and build that company and build something that you have your passion for.
Oh, and it's funny because it's funny you say that.
I mean, he cooks for me, but...
Pretty sure I feel like experimenting this weekend, so in case you guys are hungry.
I'm always hungry, you know that.
Yeah, we can make room for that.
Yeah, so we talked about having a gathering anyway, so we'll have a gathering, and anybody who wants to come. Ruben, you want to come? That's kidding. Anybody who wants to come? Mark's cooking. Sounds like a good deal.
I'm all for free food and somebody else cooking. I'm with you there.
So remember, sometimes in life you don't get exactly to your passion right away, but you can still make your life have your passion in it. Sometimes that means working a little bit harder, but you can get there.
When I was developing software, I'd come home and I'd work on it. It's called recreational computing.
That sounds like...
Passion.
Okay. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, no. I was creating stuff.
And that's your passion.
That's my passion.
That's awesome.
Take little bits and bytes out of the air, ones and zeros, throw
Ones
them
and
together.
zeros.
Throw
Does
them
that remind
together
you of
in a
something?
pot.
I think that's supposed to be binary code.
Binary.
Or seating charts.
Yeah, that too.
Seating charts are very binary, but that's a discussion for another time. And Ticketmaster already has cornered the market on that, haven't they? But you take all of that stuff, you throw it in a bucket, you stir it around exactly right, and what comes out is something that people can use.
Yep.
That's
Mark's cooking.
cooking, coding, It's all passion expressed.
The cool thing about it is the concept is universal regardless, whether it's cooking, soccer, football, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The concept is universal. If you follow your heart, you follow your dreams, if this is what you go to bed thinking about at night to relax and have a good time, then that's probably where you need to be, or
Now,
somewhere sorts of that.
You may not know exactly where you're going to end up going.
No.
But everything that you do, everything you think about, everything you feel, moves you in that
Correct.
direction. And when you finally get there, you realize what we've been talking about this hour.
Well, you know, what I always would advise people to do is have a set goal. You have an aim. Now, as you work towards that aim, like we said, you may not know what your passion is yet. So you may get there and go, you know what, this isn't quite it. Then you set the new goal. So you always have a goal. You have a direction that you're aiming towards. And this is really funny when I say this, because as a younger person, I was like, goals, planning, what is that? I didn't realize I was actually doing it in the meantime, but now I look at things and I actually just see goals, planning, everything else, trying to think of the big picture and how it's going to work. So it's always good to start that way and realize that you're doing it and have something that you're aiming towards. And that's how you kind of bring the pieces together to get where you want to be. So, for example, if you're in college, you start with one degree plan. I think I had 5 or 6 different ones throughout my college career, because as I started to do them, I realized that they weren't really what I wanted to do. So I'd switch again. My parents loved it. My bills loved it. But but it's an opportunity. Try different things. Figure out what you want to do. Don't stay with something just because you started. Finish what you start, okay?
But don't be afraid to move on.
But don't be afraid to move on when you're done. So don't just be a person that never completes things, is what I was trying to say with that.
Right.
So don't start everything and then never be a completer of anything. Complete your tasks that you have at hand, and then decide if you want to move forward with it or move on. But make sure you have completion, because that is a very important part of it too.
Technique that I used in software development is big box to small box. Because you know what the big box should end up doing. And you start filling it with smaller boxes of stuff that do the pieces and parts of what the big box needs to do. And by the time you get down to that detail level, where everything falls into place, you've now got the big box completed.
That's really funny. So one of the things that I do in coaching is I actually pull from my favorite coach. His name is Marshall Goldsmith. And he's got this 20 questions process. You can go to his website and pull it up. And that's almost exactly what it is. You set your main goals, and you get like an accountability partner. And underneath the main goal, you have just things that you want to do every day to hit those goals. Then you have somebody you call every day, and you say, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? So did you, and it can be personal, it can be professional. But all of it's leading to the main goals that you're trying to achieve. I've kind of changed a little bit from my own version of it, but ultimately you get to maybe a 3-month period and you look back and you go, you know what? I never did that. So I'm not going to do it, so it doesn't really matter. It's not getting me anywhere near my goal, because it's just not going to happen. Or you may look at it and go, I did that every day and I'm not any closer to that goal, so I need to put something else there. And basically it kind of helps you gear towards what you're trying to achieve and puts the things in place that you need to do to achieve it. So it's kind of the same concept about having all the things in the box and getting the big box.
And what you just described is the back half of that coding cycle, which is analyzing what you've done and making sure that it does what it's supposed to do.
Right.
And if it doesn't, you got to go back and change some things.
Well, I just wanted to give everybody a quick thank you and tell you that it's been an interesting show today. But you guys are people, and Russell, you didn't get to talk much today, but we got your camera going, so that's good. But you guys inspire, and you truly do. To see people that live a life that is sometimes hard work, but is truly about a passion, it really inspired me, it motivated me, it makes me want to just, I just want to be around you guys, because you guys just like lift people up by living a life of passion. And I hope that you guys can share that passion and teach other people how to get there and inspire others, because it's the way to be. So thank you guys for being my friend.
It's our pleasure.
For
Thank
working
you.
together. And don't ever give up on your passion.
Can't.
If there's a will, there's a way, and if you believe it, it will happen. Mark, a little bit more?
Actually, right now, all I can think about is what I want to barbecue this weekend.
I'm with you.
We're all thinking about what you're going to barbecue this weekend as well. So one last sentiment on the passion word. I think we've said passion a lot today, by the way.
Without even referring to the chemistry.
Well, I think it was insinuated.
There's
So one quick
there's
piece
an
of
art to that.
advice, or if somebody was going to send you anything, any kind of referral or any
nobody
help,
brought
what
up
would you be
Mel
looking
Gibson.
for? Real quick. Tell us
Anything from public address to radio to sports management, I guess now that I've added that to my resume, to software development, to I'll eat
So
for a
quick.
living.
Yeah.
Fill up the bucket. I'm good.
So Jack needs lots of referrals. Okay. That's awesome. He's got a lot of passions. Richard, what you got? Any quick advice? Any needs? Any asks?
You're going to hear a lot of no's. You're going to hear 9 times out of 10 no, especially in the sales game. It is true with everything. The discouragement, you're bringing that on yourself. You have to be able to see past that. And it's a skill that you can't teach anywhere. You just got to kind of figure it out on your own, develop it. But it just takes that one yes to turn all those no's into who cares, and then you're off and running, and you build on that from there.
There's a concept in improv, and it's the yes and. There's not but. There's no negative, you don't bring the negative connotation. This is something that we can use in passion. If you have a passion for something, don't bring in but, don't bring in no. Bring in yes and here's how we can. The no's don't mean anything. Focus on the yes ands. Focus on the cans, and that's how you make things happen. Believe it will, and it will, when you have a passion for something. Thank you guys. Remember, life is limitless. Are you ready on your journey? We'll see you next Thursday at 11 a.m. We're done.
No?
Facebook.
We're done.
I like that was an interesting
Yes.
show.
There's
That
Facebook.
actually turned
Well, how
out
did that
pretty
turn
good.
out?
I don't know, you can watch it later.
No, I'm just, listening to it on the go, it actually made sense.
Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Oh, look, there's Russell.
Hey, look, you're filming each other.
The Who's Maniac.
Oh,
Did you get yourself?
Did I get myself?
That was good.
I always get
that
myself.
wasn't bad.
No,
Later, guys.
Hey, you didn't have to do the back of your head this time.
There's the back of my head.
Okay.
I mean, it actually was.